Good evening, good evening, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. To Tonight on Campbell Talk, we have Miss Kristal Taylor who will be joining us in a few minutes. And as you know, we've been doing Campbell Talk by talking to entrepreneurs of all kinds from all over the place, around the world, around the states, just tapping into what makes them great, right? And how are those lessons that they've learned over the years propel them forward in a way that's more meaningful, and kind of like what they're doing now and how they're giving back to their communities, and how they're if they're mentoring others or being an example to others, and the list goes on. So tonight will be our friendly little chat with Kristal, and she'll be on in a second. And so I'm not your usual host of this show. I am filling in for Matthew Graham Jackson, who is the host of Campbell Talk. And so from time to time, you will see me on here, just filling in. So sit back, relax, and please like and share. We would love for you to follow us. We really appreciate you watching this show. And let's get into it. Hey, welcome to the show.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
How are you today?
I'm pretty good. What about yourself?
Good, good. We're really excited to have you on the show. And as you know, Campbell Talk has been around now for about 2.5 years. We've gone through, we've talked to people from across the United States, across the state of Florida. And so we are so excited to have you on the show. Um, so you can tell us about yourself. Well, let's start by telling us about yourself.
Sure. Kristal Taylor, owner of Ocean Breeze Wellness Center. We were incorporated in 2016. We are a nonprofit focusing on mental health and substance abuse. In 2019, I believe, we recently added housing and rehabilitation to our services. So we have been on that journey for the past few years, just to get everything said and done and taken care of, to be able to assist the community with affordable housing, because that's something that is extremely important right now with all of the interest rates and inflation that's going on in the United States today, and the actual shortage in affordable housing.
You're so right. We're having a crisis here, right here in West Palm Beach. I mean, we're having a crisis all over the United States, all around the world. Uh,
Mhm.
but we definitely have a crisis here in Florida. Housing, it has just gotten ridiculously crazy, and people can't find homes.
Right, and it's just so unfortunate. Not knowing exactly, where you're going to live, or possibly knowing if you have enough money to afford somewhere to live. It's a very scary situation that we're in at this time. And I just wanted to be able to find a way to assist individuals with affordable housing, and just give them some type of support, because it's hard right now. If I'm being completely honest, it's hard for everyone right now, and just being able to assist, in some sorts of way, I'm happy to do that. And I just wanted to start in my hometown, which is Flint, Michigan. So I do have a few things that I'm working on there, with some colleagues that I have on the West Coast. We have started some of our projects out on the West Coast, which are doing very well, and just attempting to bring the same type of aspect to other low income areas around the world.
Okay. So, what brought on this passion of yours for? You mentioned starting Ocean Breeze Wellness Center. And so, what is your motivation, or what was the reasoning behind this? You starting out this program?
Yeah, so Ocean Breeze Wellness Center again focuses on mental health and substance abuse, and it all came from just personal experiences. If I'm being completely honest, few family members that have been diagnosed with mental health concerns and mental health issues, going through life and dealing with some very hurtful situations throughout life have took me through several mental health concerns. So just being able to like go through those things personally, and either on like a personal level with myself or a personal level with a family member, made me want to figure out a way to help others that may be having the same issues. One of the main things that I did run across and run into when I was like trying to figure out exactly what I wanted to do was a lot of the policies. There's so many policies that are outdated when it comes to mental health, and just trying to navigate the system. Like if you're not able to, or if you don't know how to navigate the system when it comes to like dealing with someone internally that may have a mental health issue, it's hard. So just kind of being like, I guess, on the pavement, going through the process and seeing how hard it was, I just knew that it was people out there that were possibly discouraged or giving up. And I wanted to be some help to them to be able to let them know, like, hey, you're not alone. There are resources that are out there that can help you. And if there's any way that I can help you or assist you, I'm willing to do so. So that's where that passion came from. And I'm pretty sure you can hear it in my voice as I'm talking about it, because it's just like it's so concerning and it's so sad, and it just hate to say it, but it just sucks
Mhm.
how certain policies are put in place, mandated when it comes to behavioral and mental health issues, and just not being able to get the assistance that they need, unfortunately.
Absolutely. How do you deal with the stigma that comes with mental health or comes with um, displacement or homelessness?
You know, I can say that I would say these past maybe 2 or 3 years, the stigma has decreased some, but it's technically it is still there. um, I think for me personally, I was never afraid to talk about it. You know, like I think some people are sometimes afraid to talk about whatever behavioral health or mental health concerns or issues that they may be having, due to the stigmatization of it. But I just wanted to create a comfortable space to be able to have those conversations. And if it's me leading those conversations to make people more comfortable with it, I'm perfectly fine with that. So I think it was just me of always using my voice, like never being afraid to let people know what's going on, because it's not a problem and it's not something to be scared about. It's actually a condition, and within those conditions, you there is help there if you ask or if you open up or be willing to open up to get that assistance.
Okay. So, with you being a business owner and um, leading these projects and being on the forefront, do you find that how do you deal with fear or doubt?
Fear, I think doubt is always there because it's always something new that you're working on, especially if you've never done it before. And then you run and you hit all of these obstacles. And so you do become, fearful of the situation, or there is doubt there. But my mind is like to never give up, right? Like you have to fight and you have to fight hard in order to accomplish anything in life. So I just try to use like that energy that could possibly be fearful and turn it into my fight to actually get the job done and make sure that I'm capable of accomplishing those things.
So you mentioned like fighting and kind of like pushing forward and getting up every day and doing all of that. So how do you wusa? Because listen, I know helping people and providing services to people are it's challenging, absolutely challenging. So how do you wusa?
You are absolutely right. And it can get to the point where you just like, I want to tap out, you know? But I think taking that personal time for yourself is something that's big for me.
Okay.
If I feel myself getting to the point where it's just becoming too overwhelming, I take that step back. And it could be something simple. Maybe I put my phone on do not disturb for the day because I just need some time to myself. Maybe I go do some meditation exercises because I need some time for myself. It could be going on a walk or, going to the beach, just something simple to kind of take my mind off of everything that I'm going through and everything that I'm working on, and just giving myself that time to just relax, stay in my own peace, and then start over, the next day. And also to prayer, I don't want to forget that because I know that God Almighty is here on my side. And so, yes, so I am praying because I know that He is listening, and I know that He sees all the good that I'm doing, and He wants to be able to protect me and keep me moving forward. So definitely, having that prayer in there and just asking for that guidance or asking for that peace or asking for that direction if needed,
Mm,
to move forward on what the next step is for me to do.
I know that's right. What would you say is the hardest part of being an entrepreneur?
If I'm being honest, financial stability.
Oh,
Financial
don't remind me. Don't remind me.
stability is the hardest thing because we all want to do good. We all want to help as many people as we possibly can. But we also too have to understand that we have to be, we have to be financially stable and be able to sustain that, financial ability in order for us to move forward and push forward. And sometimes it get hard. Sometimes it get tough. I've been in situations where I have taken money out of my savings accounts or, my own personal hard work money to invest into my business and have that faith that everything is going to be all right. So, I mean, it's a lot of faith, honestly. But with regards to, what's the hardest thing, it's the money situation. I think that there are so many great minorities here that own their own businesses, but it's so hard to get the financial institutions to assist when it comes with minorities or when it comes to smaller business owners. So if there is some way or someone out there that's willing to help and assist with some type of resources when it comes to these small businesses or when it comes to these minority groups that are owner operator, and they're trying to get out there and get that additional grant funding, or if it's not, necessarily grant funding, but just more of a loan, whatever it may be for you to move forward. I think we just need more of that. We hear it a lot, but we need those individuals to act on it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it goes without saying that people that I think it's like something that people don't really understand. They overlook, right? Because they see like an office or a building or whatever, and it's like, all right, cool, it's nice, but it takes a lot to keep them doors open,
Yes.
and what, especially when you're providing a service that is very vital and needed to the community. And
Hmm.
it does it, especially when you're a young organization, a new organization, a minority organization, a woman based organization. It does take a lot of financial help to propel forward the
Hmm.
mission and help towards achieving the goals and the outcome. And it's easy, like obviously it's, when you're starting out, it will be much easier if you automatically had like 10 investors.
Right.
But a lot of agencies don't start that way. It start based on a need in the community and with someone's passion to serve their community. And so sometimes they get burned out
Mm-hmm.
because they are so stretched trying to keep 10 pots on the fire that
Absolutely right.
it just wears them out. So, that's why finding time for self-care is essential.
Mm-hmm. No, I absolutely agree with you.
And if you are watching this and you know someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows someone, uh, please, tell them to, I would say if you're planning on making a donation or contribution to nonprofit organizations, step out a little bit and do some research.
Mm-hmm.
Look around for eight organizations that are doing this work, not just the big ones that you see all the time.
Right.
The ones who are really working in communities, the ones who have boots on the ground and are just really lifesavers, just running around like little angels saving people's lives. Just do it. I've like gone into the store and bought meals for people just
Mm-hmm.
because they're just they're hungry and don't have a place to live. And it's overwhelming sometimes because you feel like you've done some good, but then you're like, well, what happens tomorrow and
Right.
the day after and the day after that? And so it's like it's a cycle that never ends. And I think that more people can also, we're going into voting season, so
Mm-hmm.
more people can really start looking at what these politicians are saying about how they're going to address problems and address issues within the local community, because
Agree.
you know we can't just pick up our homeless population and just dump them someplace. We have to make housing affordable. We have to make things achievable. And it's not just like saying, okay, here's housing, you're good to go. Putting them in housing is one step. They need jobs. They
Mhm.
need training. They need,
It's
health
more of
care.
it's more of like a rehabilitation, right?
Mhm.
That's what it is. It's not like, and I agree with everything you said. It's not just, finding somewhere for them to stay and then dumping them there,
Yeah,
because that's not helping.
yeah,
It's more of rehabilitation, because you never know, how that person ended up there. They
yeah,
could they could have been a veteran, and then they lost all of their benefits, and then they couldn't afford housing and they ended up on the street. They could have been anything, like, like it could do. Sometimes it is, a substance abuse problem, sometimes there's a mental health problem, but there's also sometimes where it's just somebody that's down on their luck,
yeah.
and it just has got the worst of them, and this is just where they are.
And
So yeah, I totally agree with everything you said, and also even bringing up the that it's, election or coming up on an election, because I think that's extremely important too. I think we just, sometimes we get a little comfortable when it comes to politicians, or if we're not even comfortable about it, it's just more of like, well, it doesn't really concern me. When technically it does, like, so taking the time to learn about each person that's
yeah,
running, taking the time to understand what their purpose is and what they plan on doing if elected, and then making an executive decision off of that. So
and don't just go voting off the hype.
right, of course,
Don't just go voting off the hype. I think
of course not.
people get lost in the hype and the clout and the whatever. Don't just go vote after that. Listen to what people are saying.
Hmm.
Look at the stuff that you need in your community. Look at
Yeah.
the stuff that your community needs. And if they're not addressing homelessness and food insecurity, and they're not addressing unemployment, and they're not addressing mental health services and funding programs to do that, you have to start asking yourself, If these services are not available in my community, where what we're going to do with the people who are experiencing those things?
Right. You're absolutely right. And I think another niche to that is not necessarily only voting presidential, right? You
Oh, for
need to
sure.
look locally because I hear you keep saying community, 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 and that is extremely important because at a local level and at a state level, that is where the community is
Yeah.
heard. So you need to make sure you're researching and you're understanding those individuals that are running to be elected and making sure that you're voting at those times, not just only voting, when a presidential race is
Yeah.
running.
It can't be every 4 years, guys. You need to register to vote, sign up to do vote by mail ballot if it's available in your, they be doing stuff now. If it's available in your state, look at when you're dating, your voting polls are open where your poll station is. Listen, carpool.
Yes.
If Ray and them don't have a car, everybody need to get up. If you can vote, you need to get up, get dressed, and go down and go cast your vote and make your vote count. Don't
Right.
sit there and throw it away because you're like, I don't like this one, I don't like that one, so I'm gonna just vote someplace in the middle for someone who's not winning. The person who is going to lead the country need to understand that all these other people exist. All
No,
these other issues exist, and it's not just the issues of one particular group that's to be taken into consideration, but also in your state and your local government. You need to be paying attention.
you're
Those things are hitting home a lot closer, because when the funds come down from the federal government to your local state, you need to make sure that they are putting this money where they say they're going to put this money, and where you advocated for that money to go. And if it doesn't go where it needs to go, then you need to put them on notice and you need to vote them out the next year or next 2 years or whatever it is.
You are absolutely right. And that notice can go on at any of these local official meetings. So if there is a
Exactly.
town hall, if there is a city hall, if there is a council meeting, any of these, if you expressing that, okay, we have received X amount of funds and we have not seen these funds being distributed or allocated across our community in these ways, this is the time for you to go down and advocate for the community in those meetings because they have public hearing and you are capable of going down there and speaking, whether if they give you 2 minutes or five, you go
Mm.
down there and you advocate for your community because it's extremely important and you are heard. Whether you believe it or not, you are heard
And
for
let me tell you, and for my people who look like me,
sure.
yeah, I'm talking to you now. For my people who look like me, the people who don't look like us, they in those well, they're in those meetings. They are stacked in those meetings. And they're walking out of there letting their voice be heard. If they don't like it, they gonna say so. If they like it, they gonna say so. And they're making sure that they preserve what they want to preserve, they change what they want to change. And we just have to stop just sitting there and then taking whatever is left over and then go, oh, well, my vote didn't count or they wouldn't listen to me or whatever the case is. You got to get up, and if everybody in your house needs to go,
Uber.
everybody,
There's
get,
too many ride shares. You can Uber,
exactly, get grandma on them, whatever.
ride
Pack
some
a
bikes. We can make it. We can make
We
it work.
already know what the struggles is. They closed down some of the poll stations, so now you got to go further. So
Right.
be prepared. Get
Right.
up a little bit early and go. Make a sandwich, bring some water bottles, something, and get a little folding chair. I listen. Our lives and our communities and and the people around us depends on everyone participating in this process to make it work and to make it work. And if 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 voting didn't matter and our voice didn't matter, why would they take so much energy or put so much energy into moving our polling stations, cutting
Hmm.
down the number of polling stations in our community, and making it difficult for us to vote? If it didn't matter, they wouldn't have been doing that.
Right. You're
Would have had, would have
absolutely
had one on every block.
right. You're absolutely right. But
So
not even that, just to kind of chime in on what you just said, majority of the polling stations that are being removed in all of the rules that are being dismantled are in minority communities. And
mhm,
we are the communities that need the most help.
yeah,
So just understanding the background of what's going on will help you understand why it's so important to go out there and vote and let your voice be heard. And I
yeah,
think that's something that we just have to do. We have to stop being so complacent. We
mhm,
have to stop just just being nonchalant, you know,
yeah,
about things that really matter, and focus more and put more effort and energy into those things if we want to see a change.
for sure.
Otherwise, things are just going to continue, and it's sad to say it, but things are going to continue to keep going downhill for us, and us meaning us of color.
For sure. And I was looking at some of the stuff they, they're changing all the laws and stuff like that. And they're saying we don't need DEI and we don't need all of this stuff and whatever the case is. If we don't need diversity, equity, and inclusion, why is it then that we don't have half of our state legislator be women?
Right.
Why is it that we don't have half of those women be white, Caucasian, African American, Black, Hispanic, Asian? Why is that we don't have more um, of the men in politics, or that half of those people in politics be just men? Like, and also have a diversity. So there's a diversity of Black, Hispanic, white, Asians, and so on and so forth. So this way, there is a real representation of what America looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And so the people who are saying we don't have an issue with equity and we don't have an issue with equality and all this other stuff, when they all get together in their roles, then they look around, they don't see people like us there,
Right.
or they don't see as many of us.
We're
So
like less than 1%.
and
So,
then and then try putting they should people should try putting themselves in other people's shoes. What if you woke up one day and everybody, the same amount of Caucasians that are in the Senate and the House of Representatives, what if all of them were like mysteriously just were now Black folks? How would you feel about that? I know they would have been probably raising hell
yeah.
because we are not represented. We're, so again, when we say we don't, when they're talking about not having a problem with equity and blah 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 blah, yeah, let's really look. Why is it not more like 50-50? Why is it not looking more like equal? And we can get there. I know some countries have legislation that requires at least half of their government to be women,
Hmm.
you know, and to require folks to represent certain groups and things like that. So, I mean, it is what it is. All I'm saying is that everybody need to participate. If you're not registered to vote, register to vote. If you are registered to vote, just double check to make sure all your stuff is updated and correct. And day off, bring your sandwich, bring your water bottles, whatever it is. Make sure you have your proper identification and all that, and then go out there and do your civic duties. Listen, our ancestors fought for this.
I know, right? That's what I always think about, because I'm never one of those people where I'm like, I'm not gonna go out there and vote. There's nobody on the ballot that I feel like should have my vote. First thing I always think about is my ancestors. My ancestors fought for so much for us, and
Hmm.
for me to just be like, oh, this is nothing. Like, no, they went through so much for us. like to the point where I know there's no way I would have been able to do that, Like, so it's for them to have all of that strong power to go through all of those things for us to be able to do half of the stuff. I mean, there's so much more we need to do, we need done. But for us to be able to just have some sort of say when it comes to this world, there's no way that I will not vote because that's something that's consistently running through my mind. And I was
Absolutely.
just gonna say too, just to chime in with regards to, the day of when it comes to voting. Most employers now are allowing you that time to
Hmm.
so at this point, it's just more of like you making that decision. Am I
Yeah.
gonna go out there and do it or am I not going to do it? Because you're getting every option where you can't make up an excuse to say you're not able or capable of doing it because you just have to get up and go. It's
Right.
that simple.
And when we're voting too, let's not try to mix religion and spirituality with politics, y'all. Like, it's just, I know. See, the thing is, we all not playing from the same playbook. They love. I was looking at the commercials when we were voting, the last couple of years, and I noticed that when it came to certain groups of people, it was like, vote for this person because they're going to do this, this, and this, and this, and this. So they look like a change maker. And then when it comes to black and brown communities, well, with the brown communities, it was like, you don't want communism, you don't want this. And so some of the brown folks who have experienced communism or they're from like certain countries that have a dictatorship, they're like panicking, like, oh no, I don't want to vote for nobody who's going to do this. And I'm saying to myself, like, you've lived in America for 20, 30, 40 years. We've never had communism. America has never been a communist country. So don't let people scare you in with their scare tactics into crap. Like, really think for yourself and do your own research. And then when it comes to black people, they were like all on this moral tip, right? Do you want someone who cheated on his wife and blah 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 blah, and like things like that. And I'm like, when I go for a job, they're not asking me if I cheated on my husband. They're not asking me how many baby daddies I have. They don't care. They just want to know, do I have the skill set to do the job that I'm applying for to do? Now, of course, we need people who are going to have some sort of a moral conscience, but we need someone who is going to focus on getting the work done. That's
Mhm.
what we're electing elected officials to do, to be responsible enough to govern and to do the things that they need to do to keep us safe, to make sure that resources go where they need to go, to make sure that housing is affordable, there's employment opportunities, and the list goes on. And that's what I needed to do. So putting ads out to get me to vote or to dissuade me from voting on somebody based on them having two girlfriends or whatever the case is, because they did that down in Florida a couple of while back. Remember Andrew Gillum? And they're like, oh, you cheating on your wife, you don't want him, blah 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 blah. And then we ended up with this guy. And now everybody is like counting the days for him to leave. So we have to do better. We have to do better because people will tell you what they want to tell you. So this way they can gather your votes and then they go in there and they do something opposite. But if you never hold them accountable, so you can't just cast your vote and walk away. You have to be in this process long term. You have to say, all right, we got you in there. Now we're going to hold you accountable. These are the things you say you're going to do. If you don't do them, and so things like that, I think is things that we need to be concerned about. But at the end of the day, go register to vote. Make sure you vote local, state, and national elections, and make sure that you continue to be a part of the process. Town halls, commissioners meetings, local community meetings. Stay engaged and stay involved. It's our community. It's we have to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves, and we're taking care of the people and the members in our community. So, with that being said, um, if you need some mental health after or during this voting season, please make sure you reach out and connect and find what resources are available in your local community. So this way you can be connected to a therapist or a counselor or a resource group where you can find additional resources, especially if you're experiencing homelessness, if you're experiencing uh, food insecurity, and if you're unstably housed. There are resources for you that are available. And also, people who are living with HIV, and if they are experiencing homelessness and hunger, there are also resources available that you can tap into to keep you, not only get you housing and get you food, but also to keep you medically stable. So, all of that, I'm going. We're switching gears a little bit, switching gears a little bit, switching gears a little bit. All right. So, have you had a mentor during this process?
Yes. Um, I've had several mentors, to be honest. I think I would say it would be more for like each stage of the process. So when I first started out and I knew I wanted to start a nonprofit, but I just didn't know which direction to go, I reached out to a family friend who started a nonprofit many years ago that was very successful. And I requested if this particular person could be my mentor. They greatly were excited about it, and they said yes. So they walked me through the entire process. So I'm very grateful for that, because that application process can be a little scary. And just having someone with that experience to be able to let me know what I need to put here, what I do not need to add, how long the process could possibly take, etc. Like that was very helpful.
Hmm.
And then with regards to actually like knowing which direction to go with mental health and substance abuse, I did reach out to a few providers that I have worked with previously in the past that gave me direction on what steps to go with that. And then with regards to adding the affordable housing piece, that's where that came in with my West Coast colleagues. They've been doing this for over 30 plus years. So they have more experience than I do. And just allowing them to be my mentor to help me walk through this, because this is just another, hard thing to tackle. So just learning, all of the ins and outs of it and what needs to be done to move forward with those processes. So I would just say from the beginning until present, there has been plenty and many of mentors that have helped me through the process that I am extremely grateful for.
Would you say that your education also prepared you for this role?
Of course, of course. I have my bachelor's in health service administration, and then I have my master's in public health, focusing on health policy and management. So that definitely helped me, especially when I'm going over all of these policies and protocols and reading that information and understanding it and knowing just how to break it down in the layman terms for verbiage for other people to understand. Being able to be an advocate, in the healthcare community has helped me. So I would absolutely say that taking that route has helped me tremendously when it came to becoming an entrepreneur.
What would you say to people or someone who may want to be following in your step right now and say, you know what, I want to start an organization that focus on mental health or autism or homelessness or food insecurity?
My first thing I would say was to don't give up. because it's not an easy journey and it's time consuming, to be completely honest. So you're going to have to put in the time to research, the time to learn, the time to find the right contacts. So just having that determination to never give up, but also understanding that it will take time. Those would be my two reasons that I would tell someone that's interested in doing something like this right now, because I think we became a society where we're ready for like the easy fix, right? Or the fast money. I think that's the appropriate way to say it. We want everything to come to us fast, but unfortunately, sometimes in entrepreneurship and owning your own, it does not come fast. Sometimes it takes years to get to where you want to be. So just being determined and understanding that, I'm not on my time, I'm on God's time. that it will work eventually, but sometimes it might not work on my timing or what I'm thinking will possibly be that time.
That's amazing. What would you say is the biggest lesson that you've learned um, throughout or over the years of being a CEO or just in business in general?
I would say not to take things personally. You
Mm,
know, you have to be a little strong minded, and you have to not be so sensitive. And taking things personally, because um you may think because this person was a colleague or you worked with them previously and they know connections, that because you know them that they may possibly assist you and provide you with those connections, but it's not like that all the time. You can know people, you can either work with them, you can, I don't know, you could have known them for your entire life. But then when it comes to, having those conversations where it's like, could you possibly assist or possibly help me out on this because I know you may have contacts in this area, you might not get that. And so you just have to know, like, it's not personal. And maybe it wasn't meant for you, because what's meant for you is on the other side, and that other side is something you have to figure out how to get there.
facts. And also family. Family will be very supportive if you let, yeah, do it, da 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 da. And then once you get down the road and you start going, then you're looking around and you're like, where's everybody? And it's not that they don't may not. It's not that they don't care or whatever the case is, but it's not their mission.
Right,
It's not their ministry. It's yours. And
right,
so they're going to give or show up in the areas where they can give and show up. And so it may not look like what you want. And at times you may be frustrated and be like, I'm
right,
done with all of them. But at the end of the day, that's your mission and that's your ministry, and it's not theirs. So if you find yourself in that position, understand that don't beat up the people in your life.
right. That's true. That's why I said don't take it personal. You kind of just gotta let things roll off your shoulder.
Yeah.
Understand, like you said, this is your journey. This is your mission, and you can't be upset if you feel like certain individuals are not in your corner.
Yeah. All right. So what's next?
What's next? I mean, I don't know. Like, I have so many things going on right now. I think I honestly just want to finish my project that I have going on in
Okay.
Michigan. I have spent way more time on that lately. Things are moving in the right direction. We have secured several funding opportunities. So, yeah, just super excited about that. Ready to get that moving. Like, can't wait. That's what honestly would be what's next on my end.
Okay. Any plans for the summer?
I am going to take some mental health breaks
Oh,
and definitely travel.
for sure.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight. We had Miss Kristal Taylor on. And for you who don't know, or maybe if this is your first time seeing the show, Campbell Talk is sponsored by Campbell Health Solutions, which is based in West Palm Beach, Florida. Um, we are a community based organization, but we also have a clinic, and we provide free HIV and STD screening, as well as um, primary care services, HIV care services, hepatitis care services, PrEP and PEP. One pill a day can prevent you from getting HIV. And as always, we're a nonprofit organization. So if you are able to make a donation, just text 53555, text CHS to 53555, and you'll receive a link to make a donation of any kind. And please feel free to share, like and share and follow. We have lots of stuff that comes out all the time. And so please like and share. For more information, you can visit our website at campbellhealth.org, or you can give us a call at 561-208-6595. Again, we want to thank you for watching Campbell Talk, which is hosted by Matthew Graham Jackson. I am filling in tonight. I am your fill in host, Richardo Jackson. And you can catch us live every Monday on our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, all over there. We have some shows someplace. Go back and check out some of the previous shows. We really appreciate that. And Kristal, how can people find you?
So sure, they can find me they need to reach me for any type of resources. You can reach me at Ocean Breeze Wellness Center at gmail.com. There's also info at oceanbreezewellnesscenter.com, and then the website www.oceanbreezewellnesscenter.org. I am also on social media sites, Instagram, Facebook. Those are the only two. I need to get hip. Richardo will help me work on that.
We have to get you a whole plan.
I hope.
We got you. We got you. Continue doing the amazing work that you've been doing. Um, Years ago, we met years ago, and still connected. And I'm so excited to have followed your journey and just be a part of just watching Ocean Breeze Wellness just became a thing and is doing these amazing things all over the place. So, congratulations, kudos, and keep up the good work. Um, yeah, with that being said, I am out. Thank you for being on the show tonight. Really appreciate you coming on.
Thank
Uh,
you for having me. I appreciate it too.
Not a problem.